Get right now. Okay.
Matt Kenseth is our race runner-up for today's 46th annual Geico 500. Drives the number 20 Home Depot Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Matt, congratulations on advancing to the next round, and maybe just talk about this race out there. Just from our vantage point, it was as intense as I can remember here at Talladega.
Yeah, it was different than any Talladega race for me. So with the engine change, we started in the back, so we kind of just hung out there waiting for the big wreck, and there was a bunch of small ones and never a big one. So one time middle race to try to get up front, I just didn't feel like I had enough strength to hang in the top 5 or 6 where I felt like was safe. And once we got shuffled back far enough, we just tried to be as close as we could to the pack for that last pit stop, and I knew, Jason and the Home Depot guys were going to have a good strategy, great stop. We weren't there very long. We gained a chunk of the track position back, and then the caution fell when we were leaving pit road and gained the rest. So that put us up, I think, in 12th or something. Had a couple good restarts at that and kind of in the right place at the right time and got a good finish.
Questions for our race runner-up, Matt Kenseth? Raise your hand if you have one. Jenna has the first one right over here to the right. And then Ed.
Jennifer, AP. Matt, did you think or believe that you would make it to the eliminator round, considering where JGR was at this stage? And then I have a second question.
You hope so. I really didn't know. We haven't ran well the last couple weeks. The first round we ran okay. Last couple weeks we haven't ran well, and then obviously we had all those problems last week when we got wrecked and all that kind of stuff. So. I knew we had our work cut out for us, but there were some other guys that didn't have particularly good luck as well, that were behind. So you never know what's going to happen here. It's one of those places I feel like, you could win just as easily as you could finish 35th. So I didn't really give you a really good answer, but I didn't know. I feel like my team is more than capable, but our performance certainly hasn't been, as good as the top, 3 or 4 guys. So it's nice to have our points back, and hopefully we can go next week and run away we know we're capable of.
So you take the white flag. At what point do you realize that the 2 is in front of you, and what is your strategy there? Because he's not your favorite person right now.
Well, when it comes down to the end of the race at Talladega, it's not like you can be like, all right, I'm going to do that, this. It's you kind of got to do what's going to be best, for your best finish. And Kevin had a really good run. I pushed Kevin really hard. I just didn't feel like I had a ton of speed. And when Kevin went up to go 3 wide and then Brad went to chase him, I couldn't really follow Kevin and be stuck out 3 wide. I figured 3 or 4 guys would get by me. So not knowing the exact points and knowing we got to finish in front of the 5, especially at the 2-1, I knew my path to the best finish was probably going to be to run to the bottom there. And Landon gave me a really big push off of 2. If it would have been a little farther down the straightaway, I think I would have had enough speed to actually get under Brad and might have had a shot for the win. But he went all the way across track and just had enough room to get down in front of me. So, like I said, that's where I felt like I had to put my car for my best chance at the best finish. So all those guys were pretty quick up there. We got a good restart and got a good run, and it's just how it turned out.
Other questions for Matt? Ed, go ahead.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Matt, for a little more detail, could you sort of give us a play-by-play of where you realized you were pushing the 2 and kind of carry us on through that, push him out front? And also, did it even flash through your mind for an instant that it was him and what went on last week?
Well, you know who's driving every car. You know who's leading the race, and I saw Kevin get a run on him, and, I was planning on pushing Kevin the whole time, but my car, the way I needed to be either in the middle or the bottom was my second choice, and the third groove was my last choice. I just didn't have enough speed to get around there, and I was going to get freight trained. So it's not so much as like, hey, I'm going to help that guy, and I'm going to go shaft that guy. You're like, all right, I'm going to, I was planning on staying with Kevin the whole time until he made the move 3 wide for the lead, and I saw Brad do a very aggressive block. And if I went up there, I was just going to lose spots. So that was where I made a decision to get back in the bottom. So it's not, it doesn't really necessarily work out like that. Everything happens really, really fast. You know who everybody is and where they're at, but you're trying to do everything you can to get your best finish. And actually, it opened up there, and I thought we were going to have a shot to win the race, and I just didn't get around the bottom groove quick enough to get all the way back under Brad. So there's a lot that happens in 2 laps. I actually couldn't tell you everything that happened in those 2 laps, even from my seat. There's just so much that happens so fast, and you're trying to manage your momentum and listen to your car and watch everybody around you, and try to make the best moves you can.
Let's go to Nate behind the cameras.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Matt, with less than 30 laps to go, you were 32nd. Was there any point at which you felt like maybe you guys had waited too long to make your move? And does everything breaking your way, it seemed like in the last 15 laps, does that kind of make up for everything not going your way, it seems like, so far this season?
I don't know. Maybe if it would have won, I'd say yes, but I don't know. I've never done that strategy before, and I hate it. It's just not in my DNA to not go up and race as hard as you can. So I kept asking Jason, and he just kept telling me to hang out. So when he told me it was 5 laps to the pit stop, me and Denny ran pretty hard to get to the back of the pack because I figured that our transitions with pit road and our pit stop and all that, we were going to gain at least 10 spots and kind of put us back in there. But I was thoroughly convinced there was still going to be another wreck. So it's hard to say. You could wait and not be a wreck and finish 30th and be out of the thing too. So it's kind of what we talked about today. We didn't want to go in there and get wrecked. And like I said earlier in the race, I was sick of it. So I drove up toward the front as far as I could, and I think I got up to like 5th or 6th on the outside, and we're doing pretty good. And I just didn't have the speed to hang there. The inside lane, they'd pass me, 1 row of cars every lap. And I got back to about 14th or 15th, and I was just like, man, I can't. I'm going to the back anyway. I might as well find somewhere safe for a little while.